will be followed by Carla Sutton and then Brian Hansen.
Good evening. Bruce Ironbach, First Ward. My apologies in advance, but I'm going to be direct. Welcome to the Trump administration, Evanston edition. Nominate ideological alignment rather than knowledge. Nominate loyalty rather than expertise. Nominate fealty to the man rather than to the people. Very sad, very sad. The question will be, will this city act like our House of Representatives and fall in line like lapdogs? We'll see. I certainly hope not. Thank you.
Jeff Berretti, Second Ward. I'd like to just urge the council to please select the best candidates available for any of the boards and commissions. We're discussing land use this evening tonight, of course. I don't know Pastor Harris-Ferree. I don't know Commissioner Halik. But if you look at their respective backgrounds and resumes, clearly Commissioner Halik has far more experience, deep expertise in architecture and zoning, well beyond the other candidate. In addition, Commissioner Halik was, of course, member of the Land Use Commission, so he has 4 years of experience there already. And in fact, is one of the initiators of the comprehensive plan. He was one of the ones leading the initial actions to redo the comprehensive plan. So I think we need to give that some consideration and some weight. And I ask you to please keep that in mind. Please consider the best candidate for any of these positions. Let the process play out. Give it time. It may take a little longer, but have faith in the process. It will best serve Evanston residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
In that regard, Shawn Iles, the Third Ward Council member, should recuse himself from voting tonight on the nomination of Luke Harris-Ferree to the Land Use Commission, as he has a conflict of interest as an employee of Interfaith Housing of Evanston. Instead, council members should vote to reappoint George Halik to the Land Use Commission, or someone else with appropriate technical professional expertise that have already applied. Finally, the notice of this Wednesday's Land Use Commission does not have the revised third draft attached to it of the comprehensive plan. The public should have 14 days to review the third draft. It's a new draft before any Land Use Commission would discuss the draft. It must be a public hearing and it provide the public opportunity for public testimony to this new draft with adequate notice and time to review. Thank you.
Council members, John Story Williamson, Third Ward. I'm here to express my deep concern regarding Mayor Biss's appointment of Luke Harris-Ferree to the Land Use Commission. This decision continues a troubling pattern of prioritizing political alignment over expertise in land use, planning, and zoning. Mr. Harris-Ferree's close affiliation with Connections for the Homeless raises significant questions about potential conflicts of interest. Connections has been a vocal advocate for zoning reforms in Evanston, particularly aggressive upzoning of our single-family neighborhoods. They have actively participated in promoting the draft Envision Evanston 2045 plan, which included proposals to end single-family zoning restrictions across Evanston. Additionally, Mr. Harris-Ferree is the rector at Grace Lutheran Church, a donor to both Connections and Interfaith Action. Interfaith Action has also been actively involved in zoning discussions, including organizing events to explain zoning's impact on housing. Notably, Alderman Iles serves as the staff overnight shelter director for Interfaith Action. These overlapping affiliations raise concerns about potential conflicts of interest and the impartiality required for Land Use Commission decisions. I urge the council to reconsider the appointment and to prioritize candidates with demonstrated expertise in land use matters and a clear commitment to serving Evanston's aspirations without undue influence from advocacy groups.
I took the opportunity to meet with the candidate, with the nominee. We met over lunch, or met over coffee, discussed sort of what his interests were, what he thought he was able to bring to Land Use Commission. And I have to say that our conversation was very cordial. And I was impressed with his commitment to affordable housing in Evanston. and making sure that it's someplace that people can move to and live. However, I do have a number of reservations about his overall qualifications for this position. Outside of recommending for the comprehensive general plan and the zoning ordinance, affordable housing is a very small part of what land use does. I mentioned to the mayor in my letter to him that if Mr. Harris-Ferree was nominated to Housing and Community Development, I would be 100% supportive of that. I think that's a great place for them to do the work that they are interested in doing and accomplishing great things for Evanston. I do respect the mayor's ability to nominate whoever he feels is appropriate to nominate, but I also take very seriously the role that we're given as council members to sit and consent on that nomination. And at this point, I just don't think that the skills are there for the work that needs to be done as we move forward through this important time. And I would hope that we can find some place for someone like them who is very interested in the city and making sure the city achieves a lot to put their skills and knowledge to work. Thank you.
So I am inclined to agree with Matt Rogers. It's a shame that these appointments have gotten so contentious. All the positive things that were said about Pastor Luke, I'm sure are true, but I'll be voting no.
Councilmember Newsman.
So I deeply appreciate the work of Pastor Luke, and I especially appreciate the work of Interfaith Action Evanston and your work, Shawn. Really revere that work that you all do for our community. I'm concerned that we have community members with tremendous expertise who have given their time, who've shown up. I mean, George Halik's expertise, he's worked with HUD, he's worked with CHA, he's worked with the Urban Land Institute. I think we'd be hard pressed to find someone with the kind of expertise and commitment that George Halik has. And so I have a serious issue when someone would like to serve his second term and we're choosing some but not others when they have this kind of, these sort of qualifications. That to me reeks of a little bit of political abuse, and I'm sorry, but he's served his time, he's done well. He is the one that actually led us to move forward with the comprehensive plan. He pushed on this and has that institutional knowledge. So it really doesn't make any sense on an expert level in terms of delivering for residents a strong comprehensive plan, strong representation, and as Councilmember Davis said, he also has tremendous communication skills and much else that was referenced in about Pastor Luke Harris-Ferree. So, that to me is disturbing. Mayor Biss, you've complained before, there aren't enough people signing up for these, we have all these vacancies, and here we have someone of this profound expertise, really profound. He's done high rises, mixed income development, senior living, commercial historic preservation projects. He's worked on the other side, facing land use commissions. So, to choose not to reappoint him, I just can't support that. Or at least have moved forward with someone of similar expertise. So again, I deeply respect, and I also want to say, Shawn, I really do. I revere your work, and I'm so happy to be working with you. I do feel it's awkward. It would be awkward for you and not even fair. You have pecuniary interest. You do get a salary from Interfaith, which again, wonderful organization, and then the pastor who's a member. The organization relies on the church memberships for most of its funding. I'd like to know why this isn't a conflict of interest when there's salary involved. I just want to understand it. And it's not why this wouldn't be considered if you're receiving a salary from an entity that relies on these membership organizations for the funding.
That's not how Interfaith Action gets funding. It's not.
I understand that more than 50% is from the churches.
I can check, but I don't think so. It's from individual donors.
But if that's the case,
Just under the city's ethics code, I don't see a direct correlation between Councilmember Iles' professional salary and an appointment to the land use commission, because the pastor is a member of that church. It's just not there.
Is a participating member. That, as I understand it, though, and again, interfaith action relies on the membership organizations for its funding,
But I don't
in
think
large part.
they don't
mostly.
determine Councilmember Iles' salary. It's
But they
just,
depend on that to pay the salaries.
it's just too far removed.
All right, thank you. I just think, again, I'm sorry, I just want to add, it's about perception, it's about the appearance. So again, I believe that you can be impartial, but really, if it were me, I feel like you're in an awkward position, I would recuse myself. Thank you.
Councilmember Halik.
In particular, many of you mentioned that Luke is young. The, the city planner, the land use planner with over 10 years of experience is actually 32. So Luke is 31 and we had a candidate that was 32 and had 10 years of land use planning experience. I also would ask that, I think it's strange that we assume that we can't have a candidate with qualities that you all expressed an interest in Luke, in addition to a candidate that has demonstrated experience in this role. So I think that we can find someone that's young, that has experience as an architect or a land use planner. As I've demonstrated, we already had at least one applicant of that type. And if we are looking for someone in favor of zoning or upzoning and we want that perspective, I do not think that it is incompatible with someone with experience. And I'll also have to say that, in my own opinion, I grew up on food stamps. I qualified for free lunch my entire life. I did not get on Section 8 until I was 14, but that was only because if you've actually been housing insecure, you know that the wait list for Section 8 is very long. And I have never had the privilege of being able to be underqualified for a position. I've never gotten a position over someone else who had higher credentials. And so I'll say that this is a soft spot for me. I am the first Black person to represent the 7th Ward. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I have an Ivy League degree, that I went to University of Chicago for law school, and that I work for a company that is well known for pushing out very smart people. And so, quite frankly, I find this appointment to some degree insulting. And also the idea that we can't have the characteristics. Like, someone came up and said that we need a good communicator on the Land Use Commission. That's rude. We have 8 people on the Land Use Commission, and to suggest that none of them are good at communicating is strange. But also, you know nothing about the candidates who also applied for this position to suggest that Luke is the best communicator or that the other ones are not qualified in that way. And so I would like us all to think about that as we're making this decision.
Which is that we do need to have a robust discussion. And I hope that as we move forward, we realize where the appropriate place to do that is. And unfortunately, that is not Land Use Commission. We don't discuss on Land Use Commission. We need to make sure that whatever we do timing-wise, we build in time to hear from the community. So that's my little plug for that.
Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Kelly?
No.
Councilmember Iles?
Yes.
Councilmember Newsma?
Aye.
Councilmember Burns?
Aye.
Councilmember Sufferton?
No.
Councilmember Davis?
No.
Councilmember Rogers?
No.
Councilmember Hadakaris?
Aye. With 4 voting in favor and 4 voting against, there's a tie. I break the tie by voting aye. With 5 in favor and 4 against, the 3 appointments to boards, commissions, and committees are approved. I'd like to have order in the chamber, please.